Hello, and welcome back to Weekend Cartoon Reviews. This time, we're reviewing Toy Story 5, Pixar's newest animated film on the market. They more often than not make bangers when it comes to movies. They released Hoppers earlier this year, and I found it to be one of the best films to come from them this decade. A hilarious joyride start to finish. Since we're reviewing a sequel, however, Pixar sequels don't normally have the best reputation unless you're Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, or Inside Out 2. The others are a mixed bag among fans. But, I don't know, I wouldn't call their sequels better than the originals, except the sequels I just mentioned, but they're not bad, except for the one that doesn't exist. We all know what Toy Story is, though, right? It's probably the most well-known animated movie franchise of all time, and it's what kickstarted 3D animated movies to begin with. It's the norm now with animated movies. The premise is simple. Toys come to life when a human isn't present in the room. So, let's go over my thoughts on the previous movies before diving into 5. The first Toy Story is a classic for a reason. It's a buddy comedy with some heart to it. Buzz and Woody are just very iconic characters in the world of cinema, and we have this movie to thank for their introduction. The second movie builds off that more and introduces Jessie, with the story being that Woody gets stolen from a garage sale and now is getting shipped off to Japan, struggling with deciding if he wants to go be put on display in a museum or if he wants to go back home to Andy. The third movie has Andy all grown up, and the toys are getting donated to the daycare which runs like a prison. Here, people say is where the story should have ended, and I agree. It's my favorite Pixar movie of all time. And of course, Toy Story 4 wasn't needed, but honestly, I liked it. I thought afterwards, though, okay, they can't do any more movies after this. They just can't. And, well, they found a way. They did another one. I wasn't too happy when it was announced, but it's directed by Andrew Stanton. He directed Finding Nemo and WALL-E, two of my other fave Pixar movies. So maybe this one would surprise me. Did it? You know what? Pixar, I don't know how you did it, but I actually had fun with Toy Story 5. Surprisingly. It's rare for a movie franchise in general to have this many installments and still be considered good. I mean, just look at Ice Age, and, right, we're getting a sixth one of those next year. I don't think Toy Story has a bad entry in the franchise. The movie follows Jessie and the gang. Yes, she's the main character of the movie. And I thought that was a very, very solid choice. Going up against technology, Bonnie gets a new iPad named LilyPad because she's unable to make friends in the real world, so her parents get one to help her out. With tech taking over households and kids playing with toys getting harder to come by, what will Jessie do in this new predicament? The argument they provide for toys versus tech is really solid in this film. Like, I didn't think they'd still try with these movies with it being a moneymaker. But no, they actually put the effort to not outright villainize technology to the fullest in the movie. They showcase both the good and the bad sides of technology. And that is what makes it really stand out in my opinion, because a lot of animated movies just don't do that. Buzz and Woody are also back, but they take a back seat in this movie. They are important for the story, but the focus isn't on them entirely, which I like. Woody's arc went full circle already, but him coming back the way he did was the best way for them to do it in my opinion, even if I think his story wrapped up. The animation was good for this movie. It was a bit of a downgrade from Toy Story 4's animation, I noticed. Toy Story 4 looks very hyper-realistic at times, and it shows how far Pixar has come since the first Toy Story. Though I will say, during the playtime segments of the movie, the watercolors really do pop out at you in those scenes, and they put a smile on my face anytime I watched them. The voice acting is also good as always. I mean, it's Tim Allen and Tom Hanks. You can't go wrong with them. I know people have said the characters sound older, but I don't know. I just didn't really sense that. I also didn't notice a difference between the characters who got recast, like Mr. Potato Head, for example. He sounded just like him. As for the new additions, like LilyPad and Smarty Pants, I love how snarky both of them are, and thought both voice actors for the role did a stellar job. I'll talk more about Smarty Pants later on, though. And unfortunately, I don't have very good things to say about him. But Lily Pad was great in every scene she was in. She really stole the show. Surprisingly, Toy Story 5 has been getting really good reviews. The lowest rated Toy Story film, sure. And to me, it is the weakest Toy Story film. I'll get into why in a bit here. However, this is the second movie about technology I've seen that doesn't outright villainize it. At least animated movie. The other being Ron's Gone Wrong, which is also under the Disney umbrella. That movie is really solid, really funny, and I wish more people talked about it, because it is such a fun film with a great message stacked in it. It's very similar to Toy Story 5's message, though I'd say Ron's Gone Wrong does it better than Toy Story 5. That brings us to my issues with the movie. I don't think this movie completely works unless you throw away suspension of disbelief entirely. There's things that move the plot forward that just don't make any sense, mainly with the way the technology is being presented. It's a lot of, well, that's not how that works, to the point where CinemaSins would have a field day with this movie. I'm also going to be honest, and this is going to be a hot take. I mentioned this a bit earlier. I didn't like Smarty Pants as a character. Conan O'Brien does a great job voicing him, don't get me wrong. That's like the one thing I could get behind with this character, and that's like the thing that got me excited to see this character before the movie came out. Other than that, he has one or two jokes total that aren't very funny ones. I don't understand why people like him. But that's just me. Last thing I'll say is that one of the problems from Toy Story 4 carries over, because Toy Story now has way too many characters. They cut back to the other toys even less in this movie than they did in the fourth one. I felt their presence more in the fourth one, even if they were mostly absent for the film. But here it felt like they weren't in it at all. Well, almost. But they get like maybe a line or two each, and then they're done. Not even. I don't think Mrs. Potato Head talked once throughout the whole thing, for example. Did Slinky have a line, too? I don't remember. I know Ham and Rex had lines, I know. You know, like, also the peas in the pod were gone, and I just found out today on Twitter that they weren't in Toy Story 4 either. But yeah. Also, did the unicorn have a line? Did Buttercup have a line? I know he had that whole bit in Toy Story 4 where he tries to send the dad to jail, but... Huh. Overall, Toy Story 5 is not the worst thing ever. Far from it. It is one of the best things Pixar has made? No. It's a fun movie, but it is easily the weakest mainline Toy Story film. That's all for now. Bye everyone! Have a great day.